All right, so the San Francisco 49ers just selected Brandon Aiyuk from Arizona State. And man, I like this selection a lot. Now, again, they could have went in a different direction or maybe they could have grabbed another receiver. But I felt like they made the right move here by selecting Brandon Ayuk. Has a very, very long wingspan at 80 freaking 1 inches, which is absolutely incredible. He's a guy that can run every route tree you want him to. He's great when it comes to run after the catch. Most importantly, when it comes to those contested catches, he's one of the best receivers in this draft class. Very underrated speed, very underrated when it comes to separation. Just a very underrated prospect in general, and a guy that had to work his way up in the first round. Right during the season, I always felt like he was a first round talent, especially when he showed off in that Oregon game. But people considered him a third or second round talent. I thought that if he has a great pro day, he has a great combine, he can slip up and get in that first round. Obviously, the 49ers needed a number one overall receiver. They got Javon Kinlaw, that replacement for DeForest Buckner. Now they need that number one guy from Emmanuel Sanders. Obviously, Deebo Samuel, as good as a player that he is, he's not a number one overall type of player. But he's a good receiver. He's a good number two guy that you can slit on the outside and do all these jet sweeps and, again, just become that gadget player for you. Brandon Ayuk's a guy that can play out wide and can beat anybody in this league, in my opinion. I feel like he's a really, really good overall. He's a really, really underrated prospect. That again, there's some tools that he definitely needs to polish up, but he's a guy that doesn't need a lot of work. He just doesn't. He's a really, really good player, and a player that a lot of fans, if they don't know who he is, should get a couple and two, watch his film, because he's a very, very impressive young man. So anyway, guys, 49ers fans, let me know below the comment section how you guys feel about it. Right? Is Brandon Ayuk the right guy, that number one overall player for you, that next Emmanuel Sanders for Jimmy Garoppolo, or should they what should they have gone in a different direction and maybe select a player like a Denzel Mims? That's something that we can definitely hash out and talk about in the comment section. But overall wise, in my opinion, I think that this is a solid B plus. This is a great selection, and overall wise, a player that overall wise could be that number one receiver that Jimmy Garoppolo has been desperately looking for.